I've read somewhere that one ancestor of yours,
Yes.
a woman, was believed to be a witch. Is it true?
Yes.
What happened?
Yes, what happened? So this is a story of the 17th century in New England, just before the Salem witch trials. And this woman's name was Mary Webster. She's one of the people that the Handmaid's Tale is dedicated to. And she was accused of witchcraft. She was taken to Boston. She was put on trial. She was cleared, not guilty. She went back to her hometown. That verdict didn't please them, so they hanged her anyway. And they had not yet invented the drop, which breaks your neck, so they just, strung her up and left her there all night, assuming she would be dead in the morning. But she wasn't. She was still alive. So her name was Half-Hanged Mary. They only hanged her halfway. And I think that's a pretty good person to have as an ancestor, don't you? Yes. So we're not sure whether she really was an ancestor. On Mondays, my grandmother would say she was, and on Wednesdays, when she was feeling more respectable, she would say she wasn't. So we actually don't know, because we can't trace her children, if any. We don't know. But she was definitely a Webster, and so was my grandmother, and therefore my great-grandmother, and so on, and they were the same family. They were all the same Websters. What
led you to retell The Tempest of William Shakespeare? It's a wonderful play, yet very complex.
Yes, it's complex. It's the play that has been changed the most over time. It spent the entire 18th century as a musical. So it is the play in which Shakespeare comes the closest to writing about what he himself did. Because Prospero is, in fact, a writer, director, producer of a play called The Tempest, which is within the play called The Tempest. And within that play, there's also another play, which he also directs. And he does all of this with the aid of a theatrical special effects person called Ariel, who is making the thunderstorm and the illusions and the disappearance of the banquet, and all of these things are done by a theatrical special effects person. So this is Shakespeare writing about theater. And some people think it's also Shakespeare saying farewell to the theater, because it was one of the last plays he is known to have done. I think it's particularly appreciated by older artists. I think when you're young, maybe you like Romeo and Juliet more, but The Tempest, at a certain age, you get it.
What do you like the most in the TV series The Handmaid's Tale? Because in Italy, we love it. We love everything about it.
Well, it happens to be very well done. So, as you know, with any book being turned into a film or a television series, it can be well done, or it can be really bad, or just nothing. But with this project, everyone involved in it, for them it was more than a job. So you have a lot of people who were devoted to the show, to making it. You also had a lot of people doing things that they didn't ordinarily do. So the director of the first 3 episodes had never directed a feature film or a drama before. She was a music video director. So, of course, she gave it everything she had. The actors, a lot of them usually played glamour parts, with a lot of makeup, glamour, etc. And for this show, no makeup. It was your face right in front of the camera. And some of them said that this made them feel that they were more in touch with the camera, that there was no screen. Anyway, I happen to have gotten very lucky with an excellent team who have been very thoughtful about how they did it. They followed the rule of the book, which was nothing goes in that hasn't happened in real life sometime somewhere. And they stayed with that rule. And they did a lot of research, and they really put out a quality show. Right now they're shooting season number 2. They're keeping that same rule.
One last question. Do you think that the world described in The Handmaid's Tale is far away, or it's behind the corner?
Well, it's nothing people haven't done. So it's nothing we're incapable. We're capable of all of those kinds of things because we've done them before. I don't think you're going to see those costumes, but some of the laws you're already seeing in the United States. And how did I come to put those in the book? Because people were already talking about them in 1980s. They were already thinking that they would like to do that.